Hello YouTube and hello Ninth Age community. This is Charles with Evershed Gaming and I'm bringing another Ninth Age battle report. It's Infernal Dwarves vs Empire of the Sonnstahl. Got a game in with my good friend Mooxie, and he's also playing at Strength in Numbers in a few weeks, so he's playing out his list. Pretty much the same list he took to Buckeye Battles. It's got a big Doom Bowl. Or not a Doom Bowl, big bowl. Pretty similar list to what I played last time. It's the double volley gun list. The only thing different in this one is I just changed up the characters mostly. I'm running a Knight Commander on a Young Griffin. He's got the Blessed Inscriptions on a Great Weapon, the Ghostly Guard, and a Winter Cloak. So he's got somewhat conditional saves. 1 up Mundane, 3 up versus Magic, 5 up Aegis, 2 up Flaming Aegis. So, sort of like him, sort of think he's got some possibly powerful things, but obviously a lot of possible drawbacks too. Then I have a Wizard with Cosmology on a cart, and then I have a Wizard Adept. And then the core is pretty much the same. Big block of heavy infantry, 2 things of light infantry, 1 with handguns, 1 with crossbow. And then 2 Knights of the Sun Griffin again, 2 Riders again, and 2 volley guns. So, yeah, I'm kind of having I keep having mixed feelings about the Knights of Sun Griffin, and you guys kind of see how I feel about those at the end of this battle report too. I feel like they always seem to have a lot of potential, but then there's always little things that can kind of go wrong, I guess, with them. I don't know. We'll see. You guys will see. So, the Infernal Dwarf list. So he's got his Overlord, that's his General, on the Great Bull of Shamut. And then he's got the Gauntlets of Medzab, which give him +1 strength and AP. And then if he rolls a 1, he hits himself with his weapon, which is bad when you're strength 7, because he's got the Onyx Core, which also gives him +2 strength and +2 AP. And then he's got a Potion of Swiftness. And the Onyx Core does D3 wounds against things that are flammable, which I think is really silly that it's not a flaming weapon, but it does wounds against things that are flammable. It's kind of goofy. And then he's got an Alchemy Prophet with the Flintlock Axe. It's a Master Wizard on Alchemy with the Magical Heirloom and the Tablet of Ashuk. BSB with the banner of the Icon Inferno. That's the most important thing. Then in his core, he's got 3 blocks, not really blocks, 3 things of 10 Flintlock dudes. And then a thing of 25 Orc Slaves with shields and musician. And then I think he had 2 things of 5 Torok, which normally at Buckeye he ran a big unit of 6 anointed, but he wanted to try the smaller Torok this game. I want to say that they have shields and infernal weapons, and a musician probably, and then he had 2 flamethrowers, an infernal engine with the shrapnel guns, and then Kadim Titan. So a lot of tough stuff. 2 big resilience, 6 things, resilience 7 engine, and then decent amount of shooting and magic. We played Dawn Assault for our deployment, and then we had secure target for our objective. So starting to look at deployment, since it was Dawn Assault, I picked table sides and I let him start to deploy first, and he just dropped everything. So he had his corner to the left there in this picture as an area where he could not deploy. So he put his bull all the way on the left, and then he has one of his Turok behind the bull. Then his Titan is next to his bull. I probably should have got a closer picture of that. And then behind the Titan, it's the kind of big white and gray thing there, and slightly towards the middle of the picture. It's near his Orc Slaves, is his BSB and his Prophet in a unit of 10 Flintlocks. Next to the Orc Slaves in the middle is his engine, and then he has his two of his 3 Flintlock bros. One's in the rune, one's next to the rune, and then 5 more Turok next to the rune. So pretty compact deployment. And then on my side, so I have a volley gun on the hill, and then my unit of 21 light infantry with handguns, and one of the artificers, kind of half on the hill, half off. And then next to them is the big unit of heavy infantry, and I have my wizard in there. Actually, I don't have a wizard in a cart in this list. I just have a... No, I do have a wizard in a cart. I'm thinking of another game I played. Sorry, I just played a game yesterday too. Yes, so I have a wizard or a wizard apprentice. No, the wizard adept of sorry, divination is in there. He's got stars align and Quicksilver Lashes game. Next to the big unit of heavy infantry is another volley gun, and then next to them is the 20 crossbows with an artificer. Behind them is the wizard master with divination. He's rocking or no, sorry, he's cosmology, and he's rocking truth and time, ice and fire, altered sight, and touch the heart. That's the last one he's got. And then you can see this is a good kind of showing what's going on my right flank. I have my knight commander in the unit of Knights of Sun Griffin kind of closest to the crossbows, and then another unit of Knights of Sun Griffin behind them, and then the two riders on my right flank. My plan was just to vanguard those riders up so that I could basically just push the Knights of Sun Griffin up on my right flank up. I was kind of confident that they could just handle most of the stuff on that side of the board. And that's my vanguard. As you can see, yeah, just put one in a field for a little bit of cover, and then one's pretty far away from those flintlocks. Probably can't even get shot turn one. So, Infernal Doors turn one. Since he dropped, he easily went first. This is the first thing that happened, is a random move from the engine. And then he moves up really aggressively. So he moves his Titan all the way up. He moves his Bull. I don't know if it's all the way up. He stays out of range of the, like, short range of all my volley guns. And I want to say he was, like, 17 inches away from the volley gun. And then everything just kind of fans up as much as it can in some cases. His right flank, or his left flank, my right flank, where I got all the Knights of Sun Griffin, he just kind of gets ready for, I think, that unit to push up as much as possible. That's a good picture showing how kind of close those things are, and not very far away at all. His magic doesn't really do much, and his shooting's pretty minimal, or pretty non-existent turn one. So I press Sonnstahl turn one. So I put Ready Aim Fire and Steady Men on these guys. I really wanted to make sure that they didn't get just tear it off the board, even though my BSB is nearby. And then obviously Ready Aim Fire also goes on the unit of light infantry. Got a lot of those artificers. And then this is what I do. So I have my my riders can shoot the Turok, and they can shoot the flamethrower on the right side of the board. I mean, I don't expect to kill that flamethrower because they got 4 wounds, but you know, I'm gonna try. And then I'm moving my Knights of the Sun Griffin up to possibly countercharge in the middle there, and then obviously my shooting's just gonna let loose. In the magic phase, I get a huge roll on these are the first dice that I think I actually rolled, and I get a huge roll on a Syrian or a Quicksilver Lash. That's like a 16 to cast, so he let it go, and it ends up doing 4 wounds, which was really awesome on turn 1. And then I believe that's the only other spell I get off, so we move into shooting. The riders put 2 wounds on the flamethrower, which is pretty good. Obviously 2 more would have been even better. And then I put 2 more wounds on this flamethrower, which I believe I shot. The problem is he had hard cover and hard target from that wall, which you really can't do anything about. And then one of the volley guns, I think, I can't remember which volley guns fired where, but one of the, I want to say both fired at the bolt, and I could only put 2 wounds on him. So Infernal Dwarves turn 2. This is against us. This is the stand and shoot with the handgunners. The Titan charges the light infantry with handguns, and the Bull charges the volley gun. So yeah, one of those failing would have been amazing. They were both kind of about the, I feel like they were both about the same possibility to like fail. They're both like average-ish charge, I wanted to say. And then this is what the rest of the board looks like. So he just moves up his, he just does like the 6-inch move with his engine to get in range on some stuff. He chaps with his flamethrower on the right there. Yeah, I just couldn't really do anything about that. And then I believe this is, I got magic. I want to say this might be like Molten Copper on the Knights of Sun Griffin here. He does 2 wounds. And then he gets the armor save off on his Titan. I think he was worried about me shooting it the next turn with like a volley gun. I think it gives him like a 6-up armor save. And then his flamethrower opens up and kills I think 7 heavy infantry, which is actually not too bad at all. He shoots one of his flintlocks at these 2 guys over here and kills 3, but they stick around. So we go into and then obviously in combat, or I guess the important thing to say in combat, I forgot to do this picture apparently, is the Titan beat the light infantry, but they stayed on the board and it didn't pursue them, and then the bull killed the volley gun. At the start of my turn 2, I charge my Knight Commander solo into the engine, and then I charge his flamethrower because, it's chaffing me. I don't really have an option. And then obviously I get to get rid of it, which is nice. And then the light infantry rally, which was awesome. This is how you can see how they aren't very far. Yeah, he just turned his Titan to look at me, look at my like heavy infantry right there. And this is a good picture of what the battle looks like at this point. So interesting. Later on, my buddy was remarking he doesn't understand why I didn't charge my full unit Knights of Sun Griffin. I thought that I wanted him to be able to charge later on. I don't really know what I was thinking, or I think I might have been worried about getting charged by the Titan or something like that. But yeah, that was a somewhat of an interesting decision. And you'll see how it works out. But this is what the board looks like. I don't really have too much more moving, just kind of move my wizard a little bit. And then I chaff with my riders on the flank. I get altered sight off on my light infantry unit, which is awesome because it also buffs the volley gun. And then the volley gun actually opens up on this guy, and I think I hit like a bunch of times, and I think I only rolled like 2 wounds, and I think he failed both saves. So, or I did 3 wounds this turn, but I was really hoping to just kill it, and I just didn't roll enough wounds. And then the light infantry shoot the flamethrower, and they kill that, which is great. And then in combat, it's a pillow fight. Yeah, I want to say I did only 1 wound, and he actually made a 6-up armor save because I'm only AP 3 and he's got a 3-up. So that is not good, not what I wanted. At the start of Infernal's turn 3, the bull charges the, I want to say just wanted to go for the light infantry, and they stand and shoot and kill it, which is awesome. You gotta love killing things on your opponent's turn. He charges the orc slaves into my Knight Commander, which is dicey looking, because now it's like a lot of combat res. I have to start attacking orcs instead of trying to kill the engine. And then he puts the bull into my heavy infantry. And this is what the rest of the board looks like. So I got to stand and shoot against the bull. I didn't do any wounds with the light infantry with handguns. And then he's just starting to move up. Yeah, as you can see, I took 1 unit of riders up the top. They shot at the Turok, and then I put 1 in front of a unit with flintlocks. And I shot there, but I only did like 1 wound last turn. I believe he gets the flammable on my unit of heavy infantry, but I really wasn't too worried about that. And then, this is where my right flank disappoints me greatly. And I think I also misplayed this. My riders take some damage, and they fail their panic test, and they run through my Knights of Sun Griffin, who fail their panic test. So everything's fleeing on the right now, which is not good. And then I didn't really have any counter charges on turn 3, so went into magic. You'll kind of see how I turned some units around a little bit. So I throw ice and fire in the magic phase at those guys. I do a wound, and then I put Truth of Time on these guys who I actually just turned around to go march on the right, because there's an objective right there, and I really want to, succeed on that right flank to be able to hopefully contest the objective. I shoot my volley gun at the BSB Mage Bunker, and I kill like 6 guys, so that was awesome. And then in combat, I was able to sacrifice my champion the previous phase. And this time I didn't want to really lose my BSB, so I declined. He whooped on the unit, and then I just failed my discipline test. So I got away at least. And then I actually charged my light infantry into this combat. And I was really excited because I'm like, man, I'm in the flank, got a big flank. I'm disrupting him. And I just roll kind of poorly with everything. Like, my Knight Commander might kill 1 or 2 orcs. I think I put the Knight Commander's, like, great weapon on the machine, on the engine, the griff on the orcs, but I almost bounced, actually. I had to roll leadership tests for both units to stick in combat. I lost by 2. Infernal Dwarves, turn 4. He charges his bull at my heavy infantry first, who flee quite far away. They rolled like an 11. And then he charges my wizard, who also flees, and who bounces through my heavy infantry and my Knights of Sun Griffin. And I believe my Knights of Sun Griffin also flee, but I don't have that picture taken yet. And yeah, my whole, almost like, I have so many fleeing units. I have Riders fleeing, I have Knights of Sun Griffin fleeing, I have heavy infantry fleeing, and my wizard fleeing. Or maybe the Knights aren't fleeing yet, but they will soon be fleeing, I'm pretty sure. Thankfully, he fails to catch the heavy infantry. I know at some point the Knights of Sun Griffin, the white bases, are gonna end up fleeing, and I can't remember exactly how, but it was pretty frustrating. I get my light infantry up on the hill to start shooting the truck. I've got 1 volley gun that can still fire, but I really just gonna try and kill his bull. Combat goes poorly. He finally kills my Knight Commander. His engine was just rolling like 3 grinds the entire time. I had really hot saves the first couple rounds of combat, and then I just started to roll 1s and not roll my Aegis saves. So, fortunately, I lose my Knight Commander, which is really rough because now I got to try and kill that engine with combat. So, in EoS turn 4, I throw a Quicksilver Lash at this bad boy, and I get 2 hits, and I only roll 1 more wound, so it is still alive, unfortunately. And I believe my heavy infantry rallied this turn. Actually, no, I don't know if they even rallied yet. We'll see. We'll probably get to the right flank eventually. Honestly, at this point, it was just a nuisance and just frustrating me. Over here I shoot and I do 1 wound, so couldn't cause a panic test this turn, get a little nervous about that. The volley gun opens up on the Great Bull and it does 2 more wounds, so like this thing's just barely, I was like really frustrated at this point because I'm like, I felt like I needed to kill either the engine or the bull and I couldn't do either, which was bad. I charged my Knights of Sun Griffin at his Turok because he was chaffing me with them. And now, if I can stay there, I can possibly get into one of those units of flintlocks. And then in combat, the orcs beat my light infantry, which is not really that surprising, considering their resilience 4 and strength 4, and they're fighting light infantry. So Infernal Dwarf turn 5. So yes, it's somehow between his last turn and my turn 4, these guys started running. I can't remember exactly what from, but they started running. I think the heavy infantry fled through them again, and they failed their panic test there. And then the bull pushed them off on his turn 5. The only good thing about that is he failed his charge, and these guys couldn't charge the volley gun. Because he tried to redirect into those Knights of Sun Griffin at the top of that picture, but he failed, thankfully. So there's a silver lining to everything that happens in 9th Age. And then over here, these Knights of Sun Griffin just get hit by a bunch of magic. I just either can't stop his spells, or he's getting like max hits and doing all the wounds possible. And these guys flee too. So again, like the whole right flank just kept fleeing. I'm able to rally in my heavy infantry. I actually leave them facing in that position because I wanted to make sure my BSB could rally my wizard, who does rally, thankfully. And I figured I couldn't run off the board in this position, and I would most likely rally if I got pushed again. But I also have 1 more turn to shoot, so I was also maybe just hoping I just killed the bull. So we'll see. I get, again, I'm trying to kill the engine still. So I believe it's pretty much at this point it was like I have divine attacks and reroll to hit from Stars Align, or I have Quicksilver Lash, and I get Stars Align off in the blurriest picture ever. And then, whew, baby, we did it. I'm loving my volley guns. They killed the Great Bull, which was awesome. The orcs do not panic though, so a little nervous. The volley gun has a quick victory, but it might be doomed. And then he actually, in a really well played move, he moved his truck all the way up so that I could not move my light infantry to go contest the objective. But with one round of shooting, I was able just to wipe out the unit with some really good hits. And then this is not a picture of the orcs charging on turn 6, but it is a picture of the orcs fleeing towards the nearest table edge. They finally were out of range of their cruel masters, and they rolled a 1, and they decided it's time to leave the battlefield. So the volley gun lives, which is just awesome. And this is what it looks like. So he really only has his 3 flintlocks left, and his fleeing slaves, and his engine, which all move up to target the Knights of Sun Griffin here. He hits him with, I believe, a Quicksilver Lash. He just kills one outright. And then I think I was able to stop a Molten Copper. Wanted to stop that, but I couldn't. And then the engine opens up and kills this guy in a blaze of fire. Oh, poor Knights of Sun Griffin. If only they didn't panic, I guess. So it's their fault, maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. Poor Knights of Sun Griffin. And my turn 6, I really have only a couple things I want to do. I'm able to force... I was basically in a good position to kill this thing on the final turn because I had Quicksilver Lash and Touch of the Heart. So he let this spell go, and then I was able to get that 1 wound through. Because the rationale is Touch of the Heart just kills it, but Quicksilver Lash, there was a really... It could have been a poor chance for me to fail that spell. And then I do take aim at the building, trying to get some crazy luck in on the last turn with the volley gun and with the unit of light infantry, but I don't really roll anything. I almost actually get half points on that unit of flintlocks there, but I rolled a 1. I got like 1 hit with the volley gun because I think I rolled a 6. So instead of hitting on 6s at the building, I was hitting on 7s. And I had 1 hit, and I rolled a 1 to wound, so I don't get half points on that unit. And this is what the battlefield looks like. So I actually have 1 unit of riders alive, my wizard master on the cart, my heavy infantry, my BSB. There's another wizard at the bottom of this picture. The wizard adept is alive, my light infantry, and one of my volley guns. And he's got his slaves and all his flintlocks and his BSB and his prophet. So it was actually a 12-8 victory before a 9-11 defeat because I lost the objective. I just couldn't secure the target on that right flank. I think that was something I really wanted to do with those Knights of Sun Griffin. They just couldn't do it. And that's what I was talking about at the beginning of this battle report is, man, I don't know, Knights of Sun Griffin, they just are not doing it for me lately. I feel like they're just like, dude, we just don't want to try anymore. We're just done. We're just done, Charles. We're not going to do anything for you. But I don't know, I'm probably just having bad dice and bad games with them. I think the simple solution will be put Banner's discipline on both units. It's 110 points out of the army, but at that point you get to reroll all those break tests, and that should possibly keep them around in most other games. So thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed this battle report. This was just a fun casual game, and it's always kind of fun to report on these. Alright, see you soon.